Hey, good morning, algebra students. Apologize for the sun through the window there. Can't do much about that right now. But today we're talking about domain and range. Domain, as a reminder, are all the x values, and we're going to read those left and right values. The range are your y values, and those are going to be low to high. Another way to think of that is bottom to top, like a thermometer. So if you had a thermometer, like an outside thermometer, you know, this would be 0, 1, 2, 3, something like that, bottom to top. So we're going to jump right in. Find the domain and the range from each graph. Now, as a reminder, your x values are left and right. So we're going to measure all the way to the left and all the way to the right. So I kind of like to make lines here and come up to my x-axis to see how far they go. So my domain, and unfortunately these aren't numbered, but let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a -5. And luckily to the right, it goes all the way to 10. So that's easy to see. Now my range, those are the y values. So we want to do bottom to top. So the bottom, see how that's a filled in circle, is all the way down here. And then the top is all the way here. So you want to look at those on your y-axis. So the lowest y-axis we have is down here. That's a -8. And the highest y-axis that we are on the y-axis is a -3. So -8 to -3. All right, let's keep going. Domain, left and right. So draw in those lines. Let's do highlighter. So here we go, all the way left, all the way right. I'm going to highlight my range while we're at it. Bottom and top. So domain right here, -3 to 3. And your range is a -5 to a +5. There you go. Basically, you're kind of measuring it. How wide and how tall is it? So my domain on letter C goes all the way left and all the way right. That goes between 1 and 6. My range, bottom to top. The bottom, as low as it goes, is right here. And as high as it goes is up here. So 1 to 7. There we go, domain and range. We're going to keep going with these. You do find the domain and the range of each graph. So domain, all the way left, all the way right is going to be 0 to 5. My range is the bottom up here to the top. So the bottom is 2 and the top is 5. Good. Keep going here. Domain on letter B, all the way left and all the way right. Sorry, this graph's a little blurry to read, but we'll do our best. The left-hand value is -8, I believe. And the right-hand value is over here at 7. As low as it goes is -5 and all the way up here to 6. -5 to 6. There you go, domain and range. Now, when I look at this next set, example 2, you see that they have these arrows on them. The arrows don't stop. They keep going forever and ever and ever. So when I go to do my domain, it doesn't really stop over here. It keeps going forever and ever and ever in this direction. And the same thing in this one, keeps going to the right in this direction. So when they keep going forever and ever and ever, we call those infinity. So if it goes to the left, that's a negative infinity. If it goes to the right, that's a positive infinity. It's a little different. Same thing for top and bottom. So if I look at the bottom, it goes down. It keeps going down, down, down. And at the top, it keeps going up, up, up. So my range is negative infinity to infinity. Good. Domain. This one does stop on the left. But I have these arrows over here that keep going forever and ever and ever. So for my domain, I'm going to say that it goes from 0 to infinity. Now for my range, when I have these arrows, yeah, when I'm looking at the bottom here, this has an arrow, it's going to keep going. Up here, it has an arrow and it's going to keep going. So I'm going to call that negative infinity to infinity. Good. It's a little tricky when they have the arrows and the dots. In letter C, over here to the left, this one has an arrow, so it's going to keep going. Oops, I used the wrong color. It's supposed to be orange. Over here to the left, there's an arrow. It keeps going. Over here to the right, it stops. So I'm going to say negative infinity to 5. And for my range, down here at -5, but again, there's an arrow, so it's going to keep going down, but it stops up here at 2. So I'm going to say negative infinity to 2. Good. Now, you do, we'll do them together. Domain, remember left and right. Well, as far left as this goes, it has an arrow, so it's going to keep going to negative infinity. And to the right, it stops at 4. For your range, how low does it go? And up to how high does it go? Well, it goes down to -2, but there's an arrow at the top. It keeps going up to infinity. So -2 to infinity. Letter B, the shape is actually called a parabola. Now my left is over here, but again, there's an arrow that keeps going forever. And on the right, there's an arrow that keeps going forever. So we're going to say this one goes from negative infinity to infinity. And my range, as low as it goes is down here, and as high as it goes is up here, but again, that has those arrows. So I'm going to say 0 all the way up to infinity. There you go. So those take a little bit of practice. I know they're a little bit different. What I'd like you to do is try some of the practice problems in Delta Math. And I know the last time we did Delta Math, some of them were tricky. I'm thinking they might be today too, but I wanted to show you what they look like. Determine the range of the following graph. Now, I think I can mark this up a little bit for us. Range is your up and down values. So there's how high it goes, and here's how low it goes. So I know that's a little messy, but I'm going to type in -1. Now, you have to do your own symbols on this one, which I know makes it a little bit trickier because on my notes, I have the symbols there already. But this is going to be less than or equal to y, which is less than or equal to 6. So because we're going up and down, that's a y equals, and it goes as low as -1 and as high as 6. So that's my answer. Good. Now, if I do a new problem, determine the range of the following graph. We just did that. Determine the range, we just did. Range, domain, that's what I want, domain. So domain, as a reminder, is your x values. So we're going to start all the way over here, and we're going to end all the way over here. So on this one, I'm going to say -8 is less than or equal to x. When I talk about domain, it's x, which is less than or equal to 8. And submit my answer. Good. Okay. So that's what they look like. Now, if you get a little stuck, oh, here's one that I wanted to see to show you. Determine the range of the following function. See how this one has open circles at the end? This is what I'm a little bit nervous about for this assignment. It starts down here at -9 actually, and it goes up here to 9. So this one's going to be -9 is less than or equal to y, which is less than or equal to +9. If this was asking me a domain question, you would be over here at -5 and you'd be over here at +8. But this time, you wouldn't use the underline symbol. It would be -5 is less than x, which is less than 8. So I'm a little afraid that's going to make some issues getting some of these correct. But if it does, send me a note. Look through the examples to see if you can get it worked out. So good job. Do your best.